What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on our collaborative Rube Goldberg machine, and today I'm looking at database and like making sure that we are committing user state to a database somewhere, right? So context for the project is we have this like Rube Goldberg machine where it's like just a website and there's like some physics simulation where some balls are bouncing around on some platforms. The interesting part here is that these platforms are completely defined by like a WebAssembly module. And the idea is that like users will be able to upload chambers that have like custom physics behavior, whatever, like, and they'll all be stitched together in some way. So we'll have like these balls flowing through all of these chambers, right? And yesterday we added the ability for people to upload custom chambers. So if I just like go in here and I say I'm going to upload a new chamber, now there's like another chamber here. Now they're not attached to each other yet, but that's kind of where we're at. We'll get there eventually. And the problem here is, of course, that if I have no database, if I restart the server and I rerun this thing, that chamber that I just uploaded is gone. And so that's kind of the focus for today is let's like make sure that we have some way to persist these things. I think also right now we're kind of like unauthenticated, just like throwing modules at the system and then they'll be updated. I think eventually what we're going to want is we're going to have some sort of like user view, right? So I, as a user, I upload like 5 modules. Some admin, me, the real me, has to go in and like approve that those modules are going to be part of like the real simulation. So we need to like tie which chambers are uploaded by which users, put them in this like not accepted state, allow an admin to come in and accept those things, and then have them be part of the simulation forever. So that's the plan for today. That's the plan for today. I think probably course of action is like we need a database, so we need to compile, or we need to like get sqlite into our project somehow. We need our users to be part of the database so that we have some way of referencing which chamber belongs to which user. Once we have users, then we can like tie the chambers to the users. Once the chambers are in the database, then we can load the chambers from the database on initialization. And then we can like add some sort of panel for people to like modify, maybe they want to like replace one chamber with another chamber, blah, 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 right? I think then like in that view, we're probably going to want something that's like, my chamber. And we're probably gonna want like some sort of like preview. So like if they have like a windmill in here going around, like we probably want to like be able to like see that in some way. So we have the ability to like render kind of like the things that are owned by the chamber on the client side. But this like the balls bouncing around in this thing are completely server side. And so I think it would probably be nice for a user to be able to like see how the balls move through the platforms or like move through their chamber. But without burdening the server with those resources. So I think that's possible with the way that our thing is set up. And I think it's probably not worth talking about much more because we probably won't get that far today. We probably won't get that far. So I think let's just jump in and start getting some sqlite going. Let's get some sqlite going. Okay. So I assume that I can just like throw an sqlite at this thing, reinitialize my environment, and hopefully I can just add sqlite to my linker args and include them and see what happens. I would also like to see, I've never used the sqlite C API, so I don't actually know how to use it, but I assume it's not that hard. I assume. Okay, I assume that if I go in here and I type sqlite, I assume that if I build my thing, it will find sqlite and link it in. I don't really know if sqlite. Oh, okay. No. Surprising. So if I let's see, env grep sqlite, and can I look at what's in here? Lib package config. What's in here? libdir here. Oh, sqlite 3. My bad. Oopsies. Zig build. I'm not reinstantiating. So hopefully that gets us something. Come on, baby. Okay, we're chilling. And then we need to like include that thing. So In our C bindings, I guess we just kind of throw sqlite 3.h at this. Probably. I don't know. Okay, so that exists, and then if can I like jump to definition on this? Hell yeah. Okay. Cool. So I looked up SQLite C, and it looks like the API is pretty. Like I'm pretty familiar with SQLite as a whole because I've used it in Rust before through these like Rust bindings, and I'm assuming that they're pretty similar, right? You're going to like have some sort of connection. You're going to execute some statements in that connection. Blah blah blah. So I guess let's try to like just do anything, like open a database and like commit it or something, and then maybe that'll give us a little bit of a clue of where to go next. So probably we just want like everything behind some sort of database abstraction. Probably. Greetings, greetings. Hello, hello. This thing is going to have some sort of object created by sqlite open. So this is, I assume we want v2. Version 2 sounds better than version 0. And it looks like we say, hey, this is where our database is. Don't know. This is its out parameter. I see. So there's like it fails with an out parameter, flags, and name of VFS module to use. And maybe I don't want to figure that out, so we'll just use the old version. Sure. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure. So this returns sqlite 3 star. So we should be able to do like C is import C zig here. And then our database should be just like a C sqlite 3 pointer. And then when we initialize this thing, we return ourselves, which means that we need to name ourselves. And this is certainly failable in some way. And we should just be able to like C sqlite 3 open. And he takes a path name, so we'll just call this db.db or something for now. We'll come back to this in a second. And presumably this can like fail in some way. So can we go back to the header and look at sqlite 3 open, and probably they will tell us somewhere. Int sqlite 3 open. Certainly they will tell us the return values here. Wow, that's a lot of text. Open a database file, blah, 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 return. Otherwise, an error code is returned, and it looks like error code is something that gets like linked here. Am I supposed to like read these through some sort of like SQLite docs browser? Like Doxygen? I can't type open. Open. In memory. So like, I just want like API docs. I don't want like, oh, maybe this is the same thing, huh? This is exactly the text generated here. Okay, error code. Result codes versus error codes. Error codes are a subset of result codes. Blah blah blah. So is it just like 0? How do I find? Ah, okay. Result codes here. How do I know if it's like okay? Return. SQLite okay. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So I guess here we're just looking for in our database, we try to open this thing, and if this is not equal to SQLite okay, then we have a fucking problem. DB, we'll call it OpenDB or something. I don't care. And I guess we also have to return our out parameters. We'll say var db is a C SQLite 3 that is undefined. Here we pass in a pointer to the pointer so that it can feed that to us, and then we should be good. Should be good. Now we need to compile, this thing needs to compile, and for it to compile, it has to be used. So we will just kind of just blindly open this database. Like this, I guess. So here we need const db is equal to import db zig, boom, 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 boom. And then I guess maybe we will also destruct this thing. So d init takes in self as a db star and returns nothing. And here we probably have to call like c sqlite3 something. Something. There's like a free close. Whether or not, oh, interesting. Whether or not an error occurs when it is opened, resources associated with this database connection handle should be released to it. That's interesting. I'm used to it only trying to dealloc if there's something, if it failed or if it succeeded. I mean, but here they're kind of saying that I should do this anyways. This is not self in this context. Okay. Fine, Robo Potato. I will try because you said so. Also because I wanted to compile. But you are right. I should do that. Expected this shit show, found that shit show. So they're kind of saying I want a C pointer to an optional pointer, and I found a double star pointer, so it's fine. Those are the fucking same thing. I guess technically this might be it's kind of saying like in Zig, null pointers aren't allowed. In C, technically sqlite3 open could return null pointer in this case, so we should allow that, which makes sense. And then I guess here we'll say, if they give us a null pointer, we're pretty fucked. So I guess we'll say return error, no db, and really this should never happen actually. So SQLite failed to open, because like if we don't have a database handle here that's valid, this should have returned non-okay. So I think it's okay to just panic in this scenario. Yeah, that seems fine. Unreachable. Is panic not compiled to unreachable under the hood? I guess, do I want it to? Like if I do like stood debug assert, what's that do? False here. Like, oh, no stood. This says unreachable here. I see. And I guess panic is probably in some contexts, like in release fast, panics probably still happen, would be my guess. That seems kind of reasonable to me. Fine, fuck it. We will do an unreachable. I'll do it. I will do it. I think unreachable can be removed by the compiler in certain build objects. Yeah, I think that in release fast, it does remove it, and I would think that probably it is more reasonable here to allow that behavior. I'm okay with it. Okay, so this SQLite close is failable. That's surprising. Routines are destructors of the SQLite3 object. Return SQLite3 okay if it's successfully destroyed. I guess we'll just log on failure. So here we'll just say stood log error failed to close DB. This shouldn't happen, but I guess in the case that it does, we shouldn't like just hard crash. We should just do what we can do. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Fine. We'll log here as well. We will log here as well, which means it may make sense to like close DB. DB is a C SQLite3. And then we do this. And then here we can just say close DB, self DB. And we can do the same thing over here. And then here, this is no longer self. Boom, 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 boom. And it doesn't like this because found expected type this, found that. Oh, I see. Fine. Expected type DB found const DB. What? Oh, I see. That's here. They want this to be variable. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, so we compile, that's a good sign. And if we run this thing, nothing crashes, which means that our database has been initialized. If we close this now and we look at db.db, we do have a db.db. So sqlite is running it. Open the file, it puts something in there. And if we do like file, it's empty. So sqlite hasn't written anything in there, so I guess it doesn't know that it's a database yet. But if we try to write something in there, we probably will find out that it's a database. So let's do that. I'll say, so we've successfully instantiated sqlite. We have some proof that code is running, and that is good for us. Okay, so if we want like our users to be in the database, right now we have this like login with Twitch button. We have this button here, and when I click this, it goes through this process where it like basically generates. It goes over to Twitch, says like, hey, does this browser is it logged in? And if I'm logged in, he says like, does this account support, like, is he allowed to use this this application? And it says yep. We go yep, we authorized it. He sends over some information to our server, and then we like parse that and attach it to some cookie. OAuth 2, I assume. OpenID, which is on top of OAuth 2. So I think it's very slightly different, but I think it is like, yeah, on top of OAuth. And so what we should do, I guess, is when we get that thing, we need to put whatever we have available to us in the database. And we haven't really got to the point where we are like kind of hard checking the information given to us, but we do have a bunch of information. So let's kind of look at it. It's I think I called it a message in here. So this is what they give us. I don't remember what any of these fields are. So maybe if we just print this, that will start giving us a clue of what we want to store in the database. I think some of these are like expiry times. Some of them are like user IDs. This is like our name down here. I don't remember what expired at, expiry time, issue time, issuer maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So where does this come from? I think it comes from here. Validate auth response. We extract the username. Let's just like go through here and let's just say std debug print. I guess okay. So for these guys, we will print them as strings. For these guys, we'll print them as numbers. So this is std debug print this thing as a number. We probably want actually to keep the name in there. We will yank the word of the name and then log the number, put a new line, and then paste the name back like this. And then we can do that again. These guys probably need to be attached to some sort of message. So this, and then we will write a similar macro for these guys. So this is std debug print. We take this thing, we yank the word, we jump to this colon, we write an S here this time instead of a D, and then we JWT message, paste, and delete the rest of the line. Okay. Oh, it's beautiful. I don't care about the nonce, I know what that is. I don't care about the username, I know what that is. And we know that the user ID comes from subs. So it's the rest of these things that I'm not so sure of. Log in. Okay. So expiry time, issue time. These look like some sort of tokens. ISS is the issuer. Okay, so OpenID connect. Maybe this will tell us Twitch. I think there was a link in here somewhere that tells us what all these things are. Oh, here. Client ID of the application. Okay, so we don't care about this. I guess we'll put some fixmes in here that we should validate this. And this. Odd and AZP. So these are my client ID. We probably want to store these things in the database, right? The expiry time and the issue time. This we just need to validate, and this we want to store. Yeah. Okay. So let's just what did we just learn? We learned this is client ID, this is client ID, this is user ID, issuer URL, expiry time. This is issue time. And okay, so I think that this kind of says, do I care about like the issue time? Like, I guess I should write it down for completeness, huh? I don't see why I would need this. It seems like writing down the expiry time is important. Yeah, I guess we might as well write down the issue time. We might as well, because like I don't want to like later find out that we need it and like not have access to it. Okay. Let's make a table. Which probably means that probably on like initialization, we probably want to like create our tables. And this is going to look like we're going to take in some DB, which is a C sqlite 3, and we're going to do something with it. Okay, how do I like run something? Exec, a wrapper function that does prepare, step, column, and finalize for a string of one or more SQL statements. This seems like a good place to start. This is the like, I'm a dum-dum, I don't really have anything that I want to do, just like fucking huck some data at the API, I think. Please create a strict table, it's very important to me. I feel like this rings a bell. This is just like, is this the type checking shit? Yeah. Gross. Yeah, and then there's yeah, okay, sure. Sure. Good reminder. I agree. Probably want to check out some of the quirks. Yeah, I should. Flexible typing. Yeah, I knew about this. No super. Yep. Yep. Yeah, all of this is ringing bells. I've worked with sqlite before. It's just primary keys can sometimes contain nulls. But I think that you just write. I think that I'll probably end up using auto incrementing key IDs. Maybe I'll use the issuer as the key, or our like Twitch ID as the key. I'm not sure. We'll see. Aggregate queries. Keywords, use identifiers. Yeah, okay. I'm not too worried about it. We're not too worried about it. But I do agree that I should use strict. So I assume that I can just run sqlite 3 exec. Do I need a callback function? What does the callback function do? Callback. Then it will be invoked for each row coming out of the evaluate SQL statements. I see. So if we're just creating tables, then we can probably null that out. This is a user pointer, makes a lot of sense, and error message is written here. Okay, cool. Nothing too crazy. So I guess, okay, let's do this. Actually, let's do this. Let's pull in SQLite browser, because this is, I don't know if this is just like my dumb stupid way of doing it, but I usually open up this like GUI and type my SQL commands in there, look at the tables, make sure they look good, and then copy paste them into my program. I recently had an issue about mixing up primary DB IDs and Discord IDs in my bot. I switched using Discord IDs for everything. I guess my only concern there is like, what if for whatever reason, like Discord IDs or like remote IDs aren't unique for whatever fucking reason, right? It's like they should be, but I think that like I've read in like horror stories of people like assuming that something is unique and then finding out later it's not. And so like there's kind of something nice about using my own internal ID that I can guarantee is unique. There's something nice about that that makes me like a little less scared. So I'll probably do it that way. Probably will do it that way, but we'll see. So what was I doing? I was opening up SQLite browser, trying to refresh my knowledge on SQLite. But let's like open DB, and let's just like, let's see, create table SQLite. Create table, if not exists, table name. Perfect. Okay, this is approximately what I want. So create table, if not exists, users, probably. And we're gonna have, this is going to be like its ID, which is a integer auto increment primary key. Is that how you do this? SQLite auto increment primary key. Dun, 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 dun. Auto increment keyword. The column has integer primary key auto increment, then a slightly different row ID selection algorithm is used. One larger than the largest. Wait, so why is this different? Oh, because they might have unused row IDs? Yeah, I do want this. This is what I want. So they said integer primary key. So this is saying that has never existed in the same table. So I'm assuming that whatever, if I were to read this, which, we don't read around here, we're not fucking nerds. But if I were to read this, I would guess that it says that somewhere like, if we run out of IDs, then we'll like try to find one and reuse it if it exists already. But we're not going to do that. So, okay. And I guess we also probably want to like not null here. Not that it fucking matters, but I guess just to be safe. We then are going to, what do we say we're going to store? We're going to store like the remote Twitch ID is a string? Is string a data type in this language? SQLite data types. Dude, it's so embarrassing when I'm like so fucking lost. It's called text, right? We have the Twitch ID. We have their username. And what else is we guaranteed to have? We have their Twitch ID, expiry time, and expire time. And what type of table constraints might we want? What? Oh, this is perfect. Okay. Table. Fuck. Table constraint. Show. Unique. Oh yeah, am I supposed to write unique here as well? I want a unique primary key. I guess that's like implied probably. Oh, right, foreign keys. That sounds familiar. Check. Okay, yeah, this is probably fine. Good enough. Somebody said something about strict. That sounds familiar. Is strict in here? How do I turn on strict mode? Strict tables. If the strict table option keyword is added to the end after the closing brace. Strict. Here? After the closing bracket? Strict rules apply. Okay, so if I hit play here, no. He doesn't like this for whatever reason. Oh, and it was just because I had a trailing comma? So this gives me a table users with no schema. Why? Am I high? Is it not supposed to? Do I have to refresh? Doesn't this usually show a schema here? If I refresh this thing, okay. First of all, let's copy this out. Yeah, I thought this usually shows something here. Maybe it only shows once we add something. So let's just like add some dummy data, I guess. Insert into users. How do you? God damn it, dude. SQLite insert. You can tell I'm fucking behind on my SQL. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Perfect. And then where do I do I specify, do I link to names anywhere? Insert into table values creates one or more rows in an existing table. I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine. We'll just say, what lib are you using to link your Zig app to sqlite? Sqlite. It's just like I'm just pulling the clib. We don't have to do anything crazy. Zig's cinterop is very good. So I think that the ID is not guaranteed to be an integer. Actually, I think we want text here. So which means we have to kind of like nuke this table and try again. So here we're gonna say okay, so we'll throw an ID at this. We'll throw, oh, I guess, oh no, sorry, ours is, I'm an idiot. We're using an auto increment key, so our values are gonna be, how do you do this? Twitch ID is equal to this? Is this how you do this? Because we need to skip the ID. And I don't remember how to specify which thing. So insert statement starts with column name, here, values here. Oh, I see. So it's like Twitch ID, username, issue time, expire time, like this. And then here we write like ASDF me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that how you do this? That ran. We have, okay, sure, yeah, fuck it. We run it, we ball. Okay, so let's look at our database thing again. And now we can do something like this. Okay, so this we kind of like throw some stringizing at it. Here we say what was it? sqlite 3 exec, I think. sqlite exec. Boom, 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 boom. Where the fuck was that? Here we go. Yeah. So we pass in ourselves and then the SQL. So this is DB. This is the string. Then we have our callback, which is null for us. God, where's my alt tab so fucked? Okay, there we go. Callback argument can be null as well because we are not actually having any callbacks. And then we have an error message output. So I guess here we say, can we do like var error is a sentinel terminated U8 slice that is undefined. Then here we pass the error like this. So we get a double pointer, which is what they wanted. And then we should be able to just close this brace. And then we say, this is the return value. And if ret is not equal to sqlite okay, we say the stood log error failed to create sqlite tables, and we give us the error message as well. And return error, I don't know, init failed or something, I don't know. Fuck it. And then let's maybe try to, we'll run this, and we'll, actually, yeah, let's introduce some like compile error here. So just to like prove to ourselves that it's going to fuck us over. Here we will create our tables with our database. And what I hope to see is I hope to see this log as well as a failed instantiation. That's what I hope to see. Fuck! So here we need to say, I guess we'll do this. db opt is this. We create ourselves into our optional DB. And then here we'll say const DB is equal to DB opt or else unreachable. And then we have our DB that we can use. And then we don't have to do this or else unreachable down here. Boom, 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 boom. Fuck. So he's mad because I passed him a pointer to a sentinel terminated U8 and he wants a double C star. Which I guess is fair. I guess that's fair. So can we do like this? Will that cast okay? Oh, error pointer. Yeah, that does sound like what I want, huh? That does sound like what I want. But then my error won't have a length here, right? So I actually kind of want like this, right? And then we can turn it into a sentinel terminated slice later. Well, let's just see what happens here first. Found. Really? This doesn't cast right? That's surprising to me. If I say that this is a C pointer here, then does it cast correctly? It does, gross. Okay. So maybe we'll call this C. C. And then we can say const is equal to, if we wanted to do like a sentinel terminated U8 slice is a pointer cast from C. Does that is that legal? Illegal pointer cast a slice. How do I do this? Zig pointer or slice from pointer. I assume that I have to give it like a length. So I think it's like stood mem len of C. Index of sentinel 0. Yeah, okay. Cast to star. Oh, you think if I cast to this directly, that'll work? Ah, that does work. Cast causes pointer to be null. Right, because this can only happen here. And then, interestingly, that just worked fine. Oh, probably because the users table already exists. So it's just not executing this part, probably. So if we just like rm db.b and then run it a bit again. There we go. Failed to create sqlite tables, unknown data type for users, issue time, int integer. Perfect. Perfect. And then here, if I rename this to integer, like this, then we chill. Nice. Solid. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Cool. So now we can do something like pub function add user. Is that what I want to do? Let me think about this. I guess we're going to log in to some. We are going to log in. Twitch is going to give us some response. And I guess either we won't have that user in the table already, or we will, and we should update it. That seems reasonable to me. So we're going to want to do something like, we're going to want to pass in these parameters, search the database to see if that user already exists, and then if the user already exists, update it instead of add, because then our issue time and expiry time might change. Yeah, that seems reasonable, I guess. I guess. So Twitch ID is going to be a const u8 slice. Username is going to be a const u8 slice. Issue time was an I64, and expire time is an I64. This certainly can fail in some way, shape, or form. Certainly. Certainly. And so then we just kind of do this, I guess. So we need to figure out how to bind these values in. I think it's you do 1, 2, 3, 4. and then you need to like somehow like prepare a statement and attach these parameters, which I don't remember how to do. Well, remember is strong because I've never done this so through this API, so I just don't know how to do. I guess we'll just look at the online docs. That's probably better. Probably better. sqlite C interface. Introduction. Prepare, bind. Ah, perfect. Okay. So we create a statement and then we probably bind things to that statement. So we bind int. So what are these like? I guess the second parameter is probably at which position you're binding. And the third parameter is what you're binding. What is going on here? Holy fuck. Okay, so this seems straightforward to me, right? We take in a statement, we bind a parameter. Like if we want to bind like the number like 10 at position 0, we could type like 0, 5, or 5, 0. One of the two. This must be some sort of like read function pointer or something. Like, or something fucked. Okay. This is a pointer to the statement. Okay. The second argument is the parameter to be set. Okay. Leftmost has a value of 1. When the same named SQL parameter is named more than once, the second and subsequent occurrences have the same index as the first occurrence. Oh, can I like do these have to be numbers? N and N. Oh, I can use alphanumeric identifiers. That's kind of nice. And then it's just in whatever order I wrote the alphanumeric identifiers is like the order of binding, which is fucked. Okay. Your website is written in C. It's in Zig. Right. No, yeah, it's written in Zig. So we're using the C API to sqlite because we need to sqlite's in C. C is the, what do they call it? The lingua franca. The French, i.e. the French. When you say lingua franca, the French, you actually mean English because English is kind of the lingua franca of today, I guess. The common language. C is the French, is the English. Something like that. Oh, you can look up name parameters by that. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then if you use numbers, you just use the number. Okay, so I write in here. If I write 1, 2, 3, 4 as these things, then I can just bind as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, chillin'. So the third argument is the value to bind. Okay. If the third parameter to sqlite bind text is null, then the fourth parameter is ignored, and the end result is the same as bind null. If it's not null, then it should be formed to be a UTF-8 text. Then what the fuck is the fourth parameter? The byte order, blah, 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 blah. If the value of the number of, its value is the number of bytes in the parameter. Bytes, not characters. Gotcha. Okay, so here bind text has, here it's like parameter, content length, and then what the fuck is the fifth parameter? Controls indicates the lifetime of the object referenced by the third parameter. These three options exist. Can't believe Zig doesn't have a sqlite bindings library. Oh, I mean, I didn't even look, right? Because like, in my mind, I don't really like language abstraction libraries that much, to be honest, for the most part, because the C API is like the API of the library, right? And somebody has like taken that SQLite wrapper or that SQLite library, and they have decided for me what the Zig interface to that should be. And I don't know if I like believe that other people will make the same choice that I make. And it's like, why should I expect them to make something that I want, right? They've made something that they want for their use case. And it's like, what if that's not what I want? And like, I should be comfortable using the C APIs because like, in reality, that's the real thing, right? In the same way that when you're working with data, you should understand the data. You shouldn't use like some wrapper around the data. Like maybe you could, but you should understand what's at the bottom layer. It's like, I don't know, it just seems like to me, why not just jump to the bottom layer? It shouldn't be that much harder, if harder at all. Because like you have to understand the semantics of the underlying thing anyway. It's like, fuck it, you know? But I understand that that's probably not the common take. So it is what it is. Okay, so it's a destructor. The special constant sqlite static can be passed to indicate the application remains responsible for disposing of the object. Okay. The constant sqlite transient may be passed to indicate the object is to be copied prior to the return of sqlite bind. The object and pointer to it must remain valid until then, and then it will manage the lifetime of its private copy. That's very interesting. So I guess kind of what's the argument here is like, when does like the actual sqlite thing happen? Like, sorry, how do I say this? Like, is this just because like when I type execute later, it might not be like in the same scope? In this case, the object and the provided parameter must be until the parameter it's finalized or the same SQL parameter is bound to something else. Okay, so this is very clear. So we should just be able to get away with using static for the most part. The reason that you would want to do something else is if you were preparing statements and binding values to them to execute later, right? So you can imagine a scenario where you're like preparing SQLite statements and then firing them off to another thread to actually do execution or something. Although I don't know if the SQLite API is thread safe, so I don't think you would do that. But maybe you want to like batch the statements together. And so like maybe you're preparing them in some like generator thing and then later executing them. But I think that we don't need that. So SQLite static is totally fine for us. I mean, something like Zig wrappers because I don't want to be running C dot all the time. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that that's like, for me, that's not worth it, you know? I'd rather have the control. Okay. So this seems straightforward. We have to prepare a statement with sqlite through prepare. Then we bind our parameters, which are these things. And then we... I didn't actually get to the next part. But maybe we'll start by we'll kind of just work through it step by step. So statement is sqlite 3 prepare. And what goes in here? Database handle, statement, maximum length of zSQL in bytes. What the fuck is zSQL? Whoa. Out, statement handle, okay. Out, pointer to unused portion of zSQL. What? Whoa. What the fuck is going on there? zSQL is a statement to be compiled, encoded either as UTF-8 or UTF-816. Yep, okay. If the n byte argument is negative, then zSQL is read to the first zero terminator. If n byte is positive, then there's a number of bytes read from zSQL. Sure. If it's 0, then no prepared statement is generated. If the caller knows that the supplied string is null terminated, then there's a small performance advantage to passing an n byte parameter that is the number of bytes in this input string, including the null terminator. Okay. If pztail is not null, pztail is made to point to the first byte past the end of the first SQL statement in zSQL. Oh, I see. So if you wanted to do something like, you have like some like chunk of SQL where you have like, you know, something like this, where you want to insert into like users, then like table, like thing 2, thing 3, thing 4, right? And you have this as like one massive string. I guess that they're kind of saying like, you give that string to this like prepare statement and it will find the end of the first statement. Then you will like do that statement and then come back and then do it again with the rest of it. I see. So like this will like, I think if I understand this correctly, this will like take this thing first, then give you a pointer to like here. And then when you do it again, it'll give you a pointer to here. Then you do it again, it'll give you a pointer to here. If I understand this correctly. Because that's what it says here when it says the pztail is not null, then pztail is made to point to the first byte past the end of the first SQL statement in zSQL. These routines only compile the first statement. Okay. So I guess we just don't have to worry about that because we will just only compile one statement at a time. I don't see why we would do anything else. Which makes this make a lot of sense. So they want the thing with the null terminator, except we don't. Do we need it to be null terminated? The SQL statement? I mean, ours is, but where did it say? It was n byte. It said if the n byte arguments are negative, we reach a zero terminator. Then it's the number of bytes worth of SQL. If it's zero, no statement is generated. If the caller knows that the supplied string is null terminated, then there's a small performance advantage to passing an n byte parameter that is the number of bytes, including the null terminator. So I guess maybe sqlite might, like, if there's no null terminator, might like do some internal copy to make it have a null terminator, which is probably what this is saying. A small performance advantage would be that if the last character that it sees is the null terminator, then it doesn't have to do anything under the hood. Probably. Maybe that makes sense. Sure. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. So we prepare the statement. We prepare our statement, which is going to be attached to this database. We are going to prepare this thing, which I guess we can just throw in quotes here. We are, I guess we're going to say const statement is this. We'll call this SQL, I guess, because they're calling it SQL. We'll pass this as a SQL pointer. No, and SQL. SQL.len plus 1. Because that includes the null terminator. Then we have the statement handle. And our null for the pointer to the start of the next statement. Cool. So here we need to make our statement. So const var statement is equal to C sqlite 3 statement, I think it was called. So here we kind of do like a null pointer, like a nullable pointer to this thing equals null. And then we just say this is the return value, and if ret is not equal to C sqlite okay, then we fail. So this is like a invalid statement. Invalid statement. And then what? Having several statements as a single string doesn't sound too ridiculous. Prepare parse a single statement in the string. So anyways, you might as well tell you. Yeah, I guess I could imagine a scenario where like you let someone like in like when we were using SQLite browser, like you can imagine that people will like type whatever into this like execution box. And then maybe like you specify the bindings like as a whole, right? You have like 5 statements you want to prepare and you're using the same bindings for all of them. Like maybe you would want to prepare and execute all of those at once. Like somebody would submit those in one chunk, but you need to bind them one at a time or something. I could see that like happening. Is the video editor finished? I got it. So in the work in progress branch, I got it to the point where I could use it. Right. So I think, let's see. Yeah, in work in progress, I kind of committed this like like just kind of garbage commits that like got it to the point where it was working but weren't really like cleaned up. There's like work in progress stuff in here. But then I tried using it and I was like, oh, this works fine enough for me to like try it. But then I don't care anymore because I didn't like what I was producing, so I was just like stop working on it. So you know, it's there, it's available, but I'm not gonna like, you know, if you're like, could you maintain this software for me? No, but there is code there available if you want to try it. Okay, so once we have our statement, we have to bind parameters to it. So this should be what we want to bind. We expect this thing to be string, integer. Right, so string. So we went through this already. We take our statement, we bind it at parameter ID 1. We give it the text that we want to give it, so it's Twitch ID pointer and Twitch ID length. And then this, we wanted to use sqlite static to indicate that this string will be valid until the statement is run. Okay. And maybe we'll do this. We'll reuse this ret keyword. And maybe do we want to get crazy? Let's get crazy. Let's do like a checked function, sqlite checked. And in here, we're going to take in some function. And can we like take in params of like something like this? How does the API to like stood thread work? Where you pass in a function and some parameters and then call the thing with these parameters. You can like probably iterate this struct in some way. I just don't really know how it works. But then we can like maybe like return void. It uses at call. Ah, nice. Thank you. So I was gonna go check, but instead of checking, I can just trust someone in Twitch chat. And maybe you're lying to me, but maybe you're not, and then that'll save me a little bit of effort. But if you're wrong, then it'll not save me any effort. But that's okay. So they use at call. So here we can just call this thing and it'll return sick. Okay, yeah, nice. So we can just call at call f with params. And if ret is not equal to c sqlite okay, return error sqlite failed. And then this was like .auto or something. I guess then we don't get like nice little error messages though, huh? You could do like on error. And then here you could do like stood log error message. And then you could even like put in here the error code. No, I don't like it. We're just gonna do it manually. We're gonna do it manually. Because I want to be able to say on each of these, like, failed to prepare add user statement. I think that's kind of nicer. A little bit nicer. So here we are going to do failed to bind Twitch ID. And I guess we just do these for the username as well. So this is username parameter 2, file to bind username. Then we bind our integers. So this is going to be bind int 64. I guess int 64 is more reasonable. So this is just going to be issue time and expire time. Cool. So this is going to be failed to bind issue time, failed to bind expire time. And we should be ready now to like execute the statement. So here we call step column values in the current result row for, I guess we don't need that. We just need to step or to completion and then finalize. I assume that we don't need, like, I assume column is like extract results. Return information about a single column of the current row of a query. Yeah, we don't really care about that because we're just doing an insertion. So I think we just like rip step until it returns like whatever. Depend on whether or not the statement was prepared using the newer v3 interfaces, v2, or the older legacy interfaces. The use of the new VX interface is recommended for new applications. Okay. So we did the wrong thing. Let's go back and use prepare v2 or v3 even. So what is the difference here? So here it looks like API is actually exactly the same. It's just because these will affect the behavior of these other function calls, which makes sense, sure. What is v3? Is v3 also the same thing? v3 has like maybe prepare flags, which maybe we don't care about. So it looks like v2's fine. We'll just use v2. Because I don't want to figure out those flags. With the v2 interface, any of the other result codes or extended result codes might be returned as well. I see. So we are going to look for sqlite done. Fuck. So how do we know if it's an error? Because he's saying like, hey, it could be an error. It could be any of the results, like any of these result codes. Do we want to like worry about anything other than done? I guess like technically we might get like okay. Most other result codes return indicate an error. Yeah, I guess fuck it. Busy, done, row, or error. Oh, I guess we might get row as well, but we shouldn't get row in this case. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's just error has been replaced with like anything, which is fine. So here we just call step the statement. Step the statement. And I guess we do this in a while loop. And if ret is equal to c sqlite done, we break. And otherwise, if I guess otherwise it's a problem. So I guess we don't need a while loop in this scenario because we're kind of like assuming that anything other than done is a problem. Even like some of the valid things like busy or row, we don't really handle those correctly, right? Like if they give us busy, we haven't really like thought about, well, is it okay to just rail the fucking database? I don't know, and so I'm just gonna say it's a failure. Well, okay, fine. We'll fucking read it. We'll read it. Database cannot be written because of concurrent activity by some other database connection. Yeah, that just shouldn't fucking happen to us. That shouldn't happen to us. Okay. That's fine. So let's just call it a day here. Return error sqlite, I don't know. Failed to run sqlite run add user. Sure. Not done. Yeah, I like it. Okay. And then I assume that after that we can just call finalize. I assume. So maybe we should just kind of defer that finalize call. So I think here we should defer C sqlite 3 finalize. Statement probably. And we should only do this if it was okay. Because I actually hit this the other day, yesterday off stream. Or maybe on stream. We actually were segfaulting in somewhere. Here. We were segfaulting in WASM time. Because I was doing this like instantiate this WASM time module and then on error like delete it. But if this thing was the error, then this pointer would be null, and then like the cleanup would null dereference, which is kind of funny. So I have to be in my head now to say that like, okay, we only do these defer blocks after we've confirmed that the thing succeeded. Unless they say, like they did for the other thing, that we have to call finalize even if it fails. PP statement is set to null if the input text contains no SQL. Then PP statement is set to null. The calling procedure is responsible for deleting the compiled SQL statement using after it's finished with it. PP statement may not be null in that scenario. I see. So we're good. We're good. We do it here. Why are you screaming my name in chat? Is it because you read it in the corner? like it's some sort of fucking gotcha? I mean, it's not like a secret. Okay. Okay. So I think we're chilling. This should do it. Oh god, they're all screaming now. They all think they fucking figured it out. Streamer dogs. Yeah, you guys got me. You sure fucking got me. Okay. I think that this is, well, let's just run this first, I guess, but I think that the database stuff is like one of the cases where I find that like unit tests save my fucking ass all the fucking time. So I think probably I will end up writing some unit tests for this. But let's get the fucking endorphins moving first, and let's just fucking call add user and make sure that like it works. So db add user, and we'll just kind of like shove some like garbage shit at it, right? Just to give ourselves a little nice feeling. Nope, remember prefer v2. I probably was supposed to put a capital V here, maybe. Or we can actually read it. Fuck. sqlite prepare. Maybe it was underscore v2. It is underscore v2. Underscore and then lowercase v. This guy doesn't like this because I put an ampersand in front of this shit when I shouldn't have. Oopies. Twitch ID length, he expects an int, so I guess we do like let's think. We'll do like a maybe function down here that's like to SQL len, and this is like a failable thing. What does he want? I32, probably like a C int, right? And here we'll just do like std math cast len to a C int, or else return error invalid len too large or something. I don't know, doesn't matter. Then here we can just write try to SQL len like this, and then we are chilling. And this probably has to go all over the fucking place, right? Like, oh, I have to return the thing, I guess, huh? Fine. I'll return it. Okay, and then we just have to do this for like all of the places where we pass lengths in. Uh-huh. Okay. Still no good, huh? Oh, because I need to write try on these? Fine. And I guess like let's maybe, since these have like function calls in them, put extra commas on here and then zig format source so that they kind of end up like this. And then for some reason the language server doesn't like update that, so we'll LSP restart. Oh my god. 38. So here we need to do like if this is not equal to C, sqlite okay, we std log error failed to clean up sqlite statement. Fine. We can't really do anything else about it. If you can't clean up, you can't clean up, you know? What you gonna do? Okay, so now we should be able to look at this database, and we should be able to see that our stuff is in there. ASDF 1020. Hell yeah. Add user API works. We're just an hour in. It just took us an hour to add one field to the table. But it's okay. It's okay. We'll get there. We will improve over time. Okay. I'm just gonna write like fix me add tests for DB creation and insertion and fetch because I don't want to do it right now. But it is important. It is important. Okay. Add users to DB. Done. I guess we also need to store like their session cookie. Because that's just another piece of info we need. So store user session cookie. And then once we store the session cookie, we also have to get the session cookie from somewhere. So we'll have to like retrieve session cookies from DB. Okay. And I guess, do we have to get the users from the database right now? Maybe not. We'll figure that out in a minute. I guess like, surely if we're putting the users in the database, we need to like know who they are. And I guess actually this add user thing, he probably has to return the ID of the user. Almost certainly, right? Almost certainly. So probably at the end of this, we probably actually want like sqlite get auto increment key. How do I like get the value out? There's like last insert row ID or something. This. Do I have to like put it as like a statement, or is there just like a function call? This. That looks right. But I don't know where that comes from. So last insert row ID. Yeah. Sure. Sure, okay. So I guess like this. Right? No, C dot. And then this has to return an I64. Does that compile? No. Value of I64 is ignored in main, so here we'll just say const inserted ID is equal to this, and then we'll std debug print inserted ID is this ID. $262. What the fuck? Oh. That would do it. I have to write the words that I want to use. You have to write the words that you are trying to use. It's true. Okay. We run the thing. We got 2. We get 3. We get 4. And we look at SQLite browser, and we should have 2, 3, or 4. Boom. 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 1, 2, 4. Cool. Okay. We're chilling. I don't know if we should enforce that the Twitch IDs are unique. I don't really think we should. I guess we probably should. So we should in here write unique. Maybe unique goes here. I'm okay with duplicated usernames, probably, because I don't know if there's like a guarantee on Zig's side. And let's just remove our database. And then running this twice, I hope will return an error now, but I don't know if SQLite's actually going to check this. So we'll kind of see. No, okay, perfect. So the second insertion failed like we would expect, which is good. That is good for us. Now, we were talking about earlier how we actually need to update the user if the Twitch ID is already there. So I wonder if you can get like, can you do like an insert or update? SQLite, is that like a thing that exists? Upsert. Examples. Insert into this thing on conflict, do this, do that. I see. So it's like insert into users these values on conflict, do update, set username equals 2, issue on conflict to update set this, that, the other. Yeah. So what was it? Commas in between? Commas in between. Issue time equals 3 and expire time equals 4. Okay, so now if we run this, it shouldn't crash. And he is over and over saying I have ID 0 again, which is really good. That means that it's like detecting the same thing again. Can I like resolve? I want this conflict to only resolve on Twitch ID. So they're kind of saying that that is how I do that. Perfect. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I want. And then let's go into main and like kind of change some of these parameters. And we should run this, and then we should look at it with SQLite browser, and we should see that it's a 30 at the last field, not a 20. Maybe we could do SQLite browser db.bb so that it like auto opens it. Browse data. Perfect. Perfect. Hell yeah, that's sick. That is sick. Okay. So now I guess we are back on trying to track session cookies. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. So actually, I guess we haven't finished adding the users to the database because we only set up the database API. We didn't actually add any users yet. So let's start there. Let's start there, where we should be able to go into server Zig, and we should be able to, wherever we validate auth response, here, we should be able to like say that now we have a user. Let's add that user to the database in some way. I see. So this gives us a session cookie, and then we use the session cookie to extract the user info. So here, we should be able to do like self server auth, user for request sessions. This doesn't feel like what I want. So this gives us a session cookie. We have the ability to go from session cookie to user info. And are we just skipping a step in here? Session ID from header. Is the session ID the same as the session cookie? No. We base64 the ID to get the cookie. I see. And I guess session ID. Okay, so we have user IDs, session IDs, session cookies. Session cookies and session IDs are just like base64 encoding and decoding each other to make sure that like our like random set of bytes is like valid HTTP. When we construct our user, we were kind of only giving back a cookie before because we were like, we'll just set this cookie in the header, and then when they call user info later, we'll like go back from cookie to user info. Now we're kind of in this case where like we kind of want to go immediately back as well. So maybe what we'll do is we could give back the session ID and then just immediately get the cookie for that session ID. I guess that's fair. So maybe we'll have a function on here. Session ID to cookie. He takes in an ID as a session ID and he returns a session cookie. this shouldn't be able to fail. So I think that we're just chill to go like this. And this will come back from ID. Boom. Then this will return a session ID instead of a session cookie. So this is just return session ID. Now the caller of this guy in server will get a session ID. This will have to say that our session cookie is self server auth session ID to cookie session ID. Everything else here is fine. I think this actually is a free function, so it's a user info authentication. This okay, and then now we have like user info. We can pull out user info self server auth sessions get user info. There we go. Session ID. Okay, which means that now we should be able to like inject this information into the database. Calls user. Like user dot username. And let's kind of like rename some of these things to get a little bit clearer. So this is gonna have like, this is the Twitch ID, their username, their expire time, and their issue time. We want all of these things. But I guess like probably in here, we probably want like their actual ID too, which we won't know yet. So like this whole model is broken. Unless our authentication thing, like with this authentication structure is like the owner of users, then he can like inject them into the database, get the ID back, and like correct all this stuff. Which probably makes sense because like if we're like using this guy to figure out like session keys, like the mapping of session keys to users, he's gonna have to load the session keys from the database as well. Yeah, okay, we'll give him a database handle. That makes sense. I'll have to think about this a little bit off stream. I don't know if this is where I want this stuff to live, but for now it makes sense. For now it makes sense. Okay. So here we will just say that db is equal to db. And then just wherever he creates this like user info, he's gonna have to start by putting him in the DB. So he's gonna start by adding the user based off of the message he got from Twitch. So the Twitch ID was fuck. I think we wrote it down here, right? We did. So the Twitch ID was sub. The username was preferred username. Then we had the expiry time and the issue time. And I don't know what order they're supposed to be in here. Issue, then expire. So we did ID, name, issue, expire. ID, name, issue, expire. Okay. Cool. So this is going to be, this is the user ID now. And then here we have ID, Twitch ID. Here, we'll call this. Okay. ID is equal to ID. The Twitch ID is equal to, I guess we need to clone these things. Right, because we like parse this like JSON structure and then free it at the end of this function, which means that we need to copy out anything that we want to remember, which includes the Twitch ID. Okay, so that's this. Twitch ID is equal to this. What else do we have in here? User ID, username, Twitch ID. We don't have to copy the expiry times because those are integers. So it's really just the Twitch ID is the only thing we have to worry about. User ID is just a number. And then username is like this. We have the issue time is equal to this JWT message ISS, and expiry time is exp. Okay, so now when I log in, we should fuck. Where did that come from? That came from server. Here. We have to initialize this thing, right? So here we need to take in, I guess, a DB here. And our auth is initialized with that DB. Okay. Which means that here when we instantiate our server, we need to pass in the DB. Cool. Cool. He doesn't like that because I didn't import that thing. Sure. Fuck. No field, this thing, and that thing at user info 319. Right, so probably my like DNN and clones are fucked. Makes sense. So this is Twitch ID everywhere. And everything else is fine. I guess here 325, I fucked something up here. Everything else has to be passed on, so self ID, issue time, and expire time. We're gonna do something with these eventually, but for now we just kind of pass them along. Expected IS64 found const U8 at 507. Really? Am I high? Oh, it's I at, not ISS. Oops. Good thing those types didn't match, else I would have just given the wrong fucking data. I guess it's reasonable for this to be an I64 because it matches that. And 514, I fucked it up here as well. Yeah. There we go. All right, are we chilling? Are we chilling? Okay, so it builds, and hopefully when I run this thing now, sorry, if I go into here, and I click this login with Twitch button, hopefully I can like look at the database now and see myself in there. Hell yeah, baby. Yeah, that seems good. That seems good. That seems good. Why is this number 9? Oh, I guess all of the failed insertions count as increments. That's not good. I guess it's fine. We have so many of them that this is never going to be a problem. But I guess maybe in the future, if we run out of IDs, we can always loosen up on the auto increment or on the auto increment rule. We can always like adjust the DB later, right? We can do like an upgrade from like this schema to another schema and handle folding down all those IDs if we have to. Okay. So we have users now. And I guess the goal for the day was to do a lot more than this. But once again, we have overestimated our abilities. But I think that we can at least start like tying cookies into this as well. We can start tying cookies in as well. Okay. Okay, so when we look up, so here we like insert a user and we generate a session ID. So I guess it kind of makes sense to just shove the session ID into the database. And we probably want the session ID, not the session cookie. That makes sense to me. So let's add ourselves a session ID table. Is the Twitch ID always an integer? It seemed to be for you. I don't know that it's guaranteed to be. So even if I were to make it an integer now, I would be worried that Twitch would change the scheme later, and then it would be a problem. That's why I left it as a string, right? I think that you're right that it's probably fine. But I just don't trust it enough to say that like if the OpenID spec doesn't say it has to be, then like who's to say that Twitch won't change their mind later? You know? Okay. So here we want to like map users to cookies. Session IDs, we call them. And this is going to be like a one-to-many mapping, right? Like if I log in on Firefox and Chrome, I'm going to have two cookies or two session IDs that are mapped to the same user. So I guess probably what makes sense is to map. We're going to be doing lookups by cookie, right? We're going to insert the cookie once, and then we're going to like look up the cookie later. Sorry, but the session ID. We're going to look up the ID later. So it probably makes sense for the ID to be this integer primary key text. Yeah, text. Blob. If we have like I guess blob makes more sense, right? If we're just like kind of randomly generating a like 256-bit number, it's not really text. And I think what we saw in the SQLite docs that like text is supposed to be UTF-8 encoded. So blob is just like, here's some fucking numbers. And I don't know if like, are you allowed to make like blob primary keys? Is that like really fucking stupid? Should I not do that? Okay, so this guy's like, who fucking knows, right? There's guys like, well, I run into performance issues. Oh, I don't know. And then everybody's like, that's the accepted answer. Also try it with binary. Is binary a type in SQLite? No. So whoever said that is just like full of shit, or that wasn't an SQLite. That might have not been an SQLite forum post. I didn't actually read it because reading's for nerds. That's what we always say. Okay, fuck it. We'll just make it a blob. Fuck it. And we'll call this like we'll map it to some user ID. And this user ID mapping is meep mop. Sorry, brain. My poor little stupid brain. So this is going to be a integer for integer. And how do I do like foreign key constraints again? So here I just say it's an integer and then I say the references thing at the bottom. So here the foreign key just goes at the end here. So I say foreign key user ID references user's ID. Blob indexing can be a pain in the ass, but depends on which engine your table is using. What's an engine? I maybe you just mean is it like if it's SQLite or not? Like it depends on like if I'm using SQLite or MySQL or Postgres or whatever. You can tell that I'm fucking lost because you say words foreign is foreign. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Okay. So failed to create a session ID table here. And here we will actually say failed to create users table. Okay. Okay. And sure, we'll just try it. And, you know, once again, like, I think that, like, the important thing mostly is to get the data that we need in here. And if performance is shit, it's easy to fix later, right? Like, doing just, like, a schema upgrade is not crazy hard. We don't have to worry about, like, compatibility between different versions of software and stuff because we're the only person that's, like, ever going to use this thing. So, like, if we have to run an upgrade one time, it's, like, not the end of the world. So I'm not going to really worry too much about getting all this stuff right. I'm a fan of fixing later. Okay, so we're going to also want to have like a new function that's like add session ID, and we're going to add a session ID for a given user. And the session ID is going to be constituate. Zig multi-line string looks sick. I love that it's not just white space at the beginning, but actually clear where each line starts. Yeah, dude, it's so fucking sick. It's like so obvious now that I see this that this is what I've wanted in every single language. It's so obviously what I want. And every other language doesn't do it this way. Or like I haven't seen this before. And it's like, oh, it's so sick. You're right. I agree with you. I agree. Okay. So here what we're gonna do. We're gonna prepare some statement. Insert into session IDs. And we're gonna insert the session ID and the user. Given these two values, we're not going to worry about conflict because there is no conflict. There's no uniqueness guaranteed here. Oh, I guess like the primary key needs to be guaranteed. And so I guess can we just like or discard? Or like insert or ignore, I think is probably what I want. Insert or ignore into, yeah. I guess we probably want to actually validate that like the user is the right user in this case. But fuck it. Like we just shouldn't make that mistake. I mean, that's just like asking for security problems, right? If we're like, we insert this session ID and it's wrong, but like, oh yeah. So I guess we do want insert, and then I guess primary keys have to be unique, right? I actually don't know. Da, 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 da. The primary key for the table consists of a single column, blah, blah, blah. The primary key is optional. Is it like each row in a table with a primary key must have a unique combination of values in its primary key with all columns? Okay, chill. Chill. So if we just write primary key on our session ID, then we don't have to worry about like the fact that they could collide. If they collide, we will error out. We will double check that. So we'll just write fix me double check adding duplicate session ID fails. That should fail. And we don't have like any on conflict. On conflict, we're just gonna like fucking crash and burn. We have some statement. We are going to prepare the statement and finalize the statement. We might argue that there should be some sort of like zig wrapping of these common things. So I'm just gonna throw fix me on here and look into dedupe. But maybe it's also fine. Okay, and then we're binding a blob and an integer. So we don't have an example for blob yet. Where were we in the docs? Holy fuck, that's a lot of tabs. SQLite bind. We are binding a blob and it's just the same shit. Same shit. Okay. So we can copy paste the bind text thing and we will just kind of replace this with bind blob. So this is gonna be bind blob. Then the blob goes into index 1, and the blob is the session ID pointer, and then session ID length here, and SQLite static. It's still gooky here. Gucky gang, gucky gang, gucky gang, gucky gang. Okay. So we have our blob bound. We have to check the return. So this should also say add session ID statement. Here we are going to fail out and say failed to bind session ID. Okay. And now we just are going to do something similar, but instead of binding a blob, we're going to bind an integer. And I think it was bind int64. And this is at position 2 with the user. Yep. And this is going to be failed to bind user. Okay. then we run the fucking thing. We run it. And is that it? I think so. I think that's it. And this has failed to run. Add session ID. Okay. So now in our user authentication stuff, I guess like this concept of storing the sessions in like a map in memory now is like kind of wrong. We should kind of just hit the DB every fucking time, right? Is that stupid? I don't think so. Right? Like I would assume that sqlite will like kind of cache in memory what it needs to cache in memory to be fast, and I don't really expect it to be that much slower than doing a hash map. I mean, I guess I should expect it to be slower, but like probably I don't think that I want to like introduce the complexity of adding another layer of caching here. sqlite is mad fast. Yeah, it is mad fast. I agree, but I don't know if mad fast, like how mad fast relative to like, you know, a vector, right? Like I don't know how the comparison is, but I do know it's mad fast for a database. Okay, so here when we create our session ID, we create it here, and here we say self db add session ID for this user and this session ID. Now we don't have to worry about like collision here. Well, I guess we kind of do, but like the chance of this collision ever happening is so low that it doesn't fucking matter. Our user, like say this fails, our user will be in the database. And then we'll like run like this will flag to whoever's calling it that like it failed, and they'll just log in with Twitch again. And next time it'll regenerate a new session ID. It will like go through and get this user info from Twitch again, but that's fine. It'll update the database. No, nothing to worry about. I don't think. I think that we can just like hit try here. Yeah, and then fuck this self sessions map. I think. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck this self sessions map. Okay. Sure. Which means that basically we need to replace whatever was using the session map before with a lookup in the DB. So all of this stuff can go away, which is kind of nice. This is all self sessions related. So this deinit actually goes away, which is kind of cool. That's kind of nice. I'll leave it here for now because I don't want to like fix everyone who's calling it, but that's kind of nice that it's gone away. And then here we just replace this self sessions get with a lookup in the database by session ID. So here we are going to add a little function that's like user from session ID, which kind of means that like the user info like structure kind of gets like owned by the database, which is kind of weird. Right? This kind of like goes here now. Which I guess is reasonable. Right? The user, like we have like some API to like inject and remove a user from the database. That makes sense. Yeah, fuck it. So here we pass in a session ID and we get back a user info. Sure. And what's that going to be? That's going to be like... okay. We're going to have to do some SQLite testing in SQLite browser. Okay. So we didn't fucking make our session table yet, so can we just zig, build, and run? Fuck, no we cannot, because 166, session ID, he's angry. No field name sessions at user info. So, fuck me. This is gonna be const user info is equal to try self db user from session ID. session ID. Boom. Okay. And I guess it's just a raw return here. And this is coming from db user info. Okay. Seems reasonable to me. Fuck! 477. So this needs a session ID ampersand like this. And user info is not marked pub. Fine. We will mark it pub then, if that's what you want from us. 487 needs a coercion. Oops, he's in user info. This needs a coercion like that. And add session ID returns I64, function with non-void return type, implicit return. So this is in DB. Add session ID. So here we forgot to return something. We don't need to return anything here though. There's nothing to return. Okay. Failed to create session ID table. Syntax error. So what the fuck did I do wrong here? Create table if not exists. Session IDs. What's the fucking problem? References. Yeah, so it looks at this. Yeah, it is. So this foreign ID, he doesn't like it. Tables near user ID. Oh, here I forgot to put a semicolon, or not a semicolon, a fucking comma. Yeah, so what is a foreign key? I guess we just fucked it up. So let's delete all these like billion tabs. sqlite foreign key. We just got it wrong. Users. Oh, is it like this? Really? Oh, it is. Foreign key, this, references this. Interesting. My bad. Okay. Still syntax error near an open bracket. Oh, it's because I put foreign underscore key as well. That's fucking stupid. Oopies. Okay, there we go. So now if we sqlite browser, we should have a session keys table in here, session IDs. Nice. I wish, I'm used to this showing a schema here. It's kind of annoying to me that they don't. But it's okay. So our session IDs, we can do like insert into session IDs. We have session ID, user ID, where, fuck, values, let's just write like ASDF. Can we do that? Hopefully. And then our user ID for me is 9. No column named session ID. Was it ID? ID, user ID. Insert into session IDs, ID, user ID, values, ASDF 9. Cannot store text column as blob. How do I like do an inline blob? sqlite insert blob. Why is the table session IDs rather than sessions? Yeah, that's a good question. Probably shouldn't be. Is this valid syntax? SQLite browser insert blob. No. SQLite text to blob. Like I just want like quote data, hex data. Is this valid? Is this what they're saying? Oh, fuck. I just want to like shove some blob in there, man. SQLite, convert text to blob. Like, surely. Oh, unhex. Hell yeah, we got something in there. We got something in there. Okay. So now we have session IDs, and we should be able to. What we were trying to do, we were trying to figure out the user ID for a given cookie. So we have this cookie now, and we're trying to do select user ID from session IDs where ID is equal to unhex 134. Delete this shit. Okay, chillin'. Chillin'. Did they show lower X right below that? Yeah, maybe that works as well, huh? I did see that. They did like something like this. Maybe with single quotes. Ah, perfect. Okay, cool. Cool. Good to know. X single quotes 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just put a blob with this binary representation of this hex string. Got it. Okay, so this is what I want though. This is all I was looking for. So when we want a user from session ID, we say select this from that where this is that. So this probably has to be like a question mark 1, right? And we want to do like a preparation of the statement, bind the value, and then we'll have to like iterate the rows, which we haven't figured out how to do yet, but we'll figure that out too. Just kind of copy paste this. Boom. Fix me, look into dedupe. I agree, we should look into dedupe. So we prepare this thing, but the SQL comes from this now. So const SQL is equal to this shit. We need to make a statement here. So statement is a C SQLite 3 statement. And was it a double pointer? I already forgot. Yes. We call this, we get the statement out. We bind the blob at parameter 1, and then we step the statement one time. And here is where it is new to us. Here's where it's new to us. So before we were doing one step and assuming that it would be done, we're kind of assuming that the first step here will be SQLite row. And if there is nothing, we'll say like session ID not present in DB. And I guess this isn't technically an error, right? Maybe like we expire a cookie and a browser still has it. So I guess here, maybe we'll do like a question mark. And we'll kind of do like, if this is done, we return null. Right? This is like not really a problem. But if it's not row after that, then we have a fucking problem. And that's when we log an error. Failed to get user ID from session ID. And maybe we'll even log the number. We don't have to put a new line in these because it's the logger does that for us. And here we'll just put in red. Boom. And then we return error. I don't know, SQL. I don't know. We're gonna have to like go through, fix me consistent error types. This is like, we're just kind of like typing whatever all over the place. I guess you want to add a limit 1. I think that it's okay because the primary keys are guaranteed to be unique. So I don't think that we could ever get more than 1. I think that's impossible. Okay, so we haven't looked at this like sqlite column thing yet. But we can figure it out. So we're expecting to extract an integer, an I64 even. So here we're saying, hey, I want this I64 from this column. Oh, it's simple. Okay. So this is just literally just like return the statement at column 0, 1, 0. There's who fucking knows which way this goes. I call. It doesn't. I have to read. I hate that I can't just like search the string. Where does it say what the number should be? The leftmost column of result has index 0. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I think this should be it. This should give us the user. And so if we go here, and we've injected some shit into the database. I don't know if we left it in there, but or if we didn't save. We did not save. So let's insert into session IDs. Session ID, no, ID and user ID. Right? We are inserting values that hex thing 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as the user ID 9. This should work. Okay. We should be able to save the database now. Write changes. And now we should be able to, in our main function here, let's just try looking up 1, 2, 3, 4 in the database. So we'll say db user from session ID, and we'll just kind of give it like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And hopefully this shows us something of interest. So can we do something like const users equal this? And can we do like std debug print user any, and then log the user? Will that work? Right, we're supposed to return the user info, which is annoying. So here, we actually need to do some like, this is, oh, fuck, I forgot. This is why I wanted to go into SQLite browser before. So here we want to do something like, we need to do like select, like users.twitch ID, users.username, users.expiry time, and users. What the is that the fucking issue time and expire time? Twitch ID, username, issue time, expire time. Issue time and expire time. From session IDs, left join users on session IDs dot user ID is equal to users ID or something, where session ID's ID is equal to 1. I think this is what we want to do. So if we did this right, fuck. Select blah 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 blah. He doesn't like no such column. Session ID is user ID. Really? Session ID is user ID. That should be right. So select from on. Oh, I spelled session wrong. That would do it. Okay, chillin'. Okay, easy. Easy. So you can just go back here and paste this and just, oops, wrong one. Here. Boom. So this just becomes users Twitch ID. I guess we want users ID as well. users username, users issue time, users expire time. From this thing, left join, we can just copy paste the left join part. Actually, we probably could have copied everything, but shut the fuck up. Yeah, so this goes here, where this needs to be sessions IDs ID. Okay. Maybe. And then at the end here, instead of this, we say const. Issue time is equal to 0, 1, 2. Expire time is 3. And then how the fuck do we get like blobs? Blob gives us a void star. Presumably we have to copy this shit out, right? Presumably the return types here are owned by the statement. Almost certainly. Returns the number of bytes in the blob, 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 blob. Okay, so I need to call sqlite 3 column bytes to get the length. They do not include zero terminators. Strings are... Okay, so bytes, not null terminated. Strings, null terminated. I'm assuming we have to copy out, but it doesn't say that anywhere. Well, it does say that somewhere, probably. I'm just not good at reading. The memory space used to hold strings is blah, blah, blah. Do not pass pointers returned into sqlite 3. As if the column... what is like the lifetime? Our valid until type conversion occurs as described above. Whoa. These routines may attempt to convert the data type of the result. For example, this is used internally to convert this stuff. Right, so we ask for some type from some other type. It does some casts. Note that when these type conversions occur, pointers returned by prior calls to these things may be invalidated. Oh, okay. So I guess kind of we just the safest policy to invoke these routines is one of the following ways. Okay, then you get the bytes to find the size result. They're valid until type coercion occurs. Okay, I'm assuming we just copy the shit out, right? Copying the shit out seems like the safest, sanest, most reasonable thing to do. Okay. sqlite 3 column blob. I'm surprised you're not writing your own DBs from scratch. It does seem like we should, huh? Like, it would be in the theme of the channel to write our own DB. It would be. Because clearly we don't really get how they work very good. So Twitch ID, username. This is text here. And it was sqlite column bytes here is the thing we'd get. So const Twitch ID len is equal to c sqlite 3 column or column bytes. This is username lang. And then I guess this probably needs to pass in an allocator to bind like the user info stuff to. So here we're gonna say like alloc dupe the Twitch ID as a U8 buffer, and we're gonna dupe from Twitch ID 0 to Twitch ID len. This is try, so const Twitch ID clone is equal to this, and then we could do the same thing for username clone. Yeah, it's all coming together, which means that at this point we have everything we need to return the user info. I guess here we need to defer clear this shit up, so alloc.free Twitch ID clone. And here we need to error defer the username clone. Morning, y'all is crazy. Like, I know that time zones exist, but it feels crazy that time zones exist, you know? I guess we need the user ID here, huh? The user ID here as well, huh? So we have user ID. We forgot that one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here it's a user ID is the column int 64 of column 0. Perfect. So I think we have enough here. I'm from the future. It turns out it's fine. Hell yeah. I've always loved. I live on like west coast of North America, right? And I've always liked that it feels like I have the best time zone for watching TV. Right? I get everything like a day, like because everything comes out earlier for me, right? Because they kind of target like East Coast time a lot of the time and stuff like that. Um, in New Zealand and Australia, I assume it's the opposite. I assume that you just get fucked on TV schedule. What? I wouldn't know. Is that correct? Let me know what stock section by. I feel like you guys are a little confused about how it works, to be honest. You guys seem a little lost. Member function expected 2 arguments, found 1. So here in our main thing, we now need to pass in an allocator. I used to work for a company in the West Coast USA, and I can only remember 8 hours ahead and 1 day behind. Yeah, that's fucked. Says no sqlite call. Oh, I forgot 3 on sqlite here. Okay, and then in user info, we have to pass in an allocator here as well. So here. Boom. All right, almost there. Almost there. We forgot column bytes requires some input. What does it require? Statement and column. Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. If you need it, you need it. Slice of non-array type of this shit at 212. Fuck off. So here can we just say like this? If we just manually specify that it's a multi-element pointer, does it like kind of fix itself? Probably we need to like null check it as well. And then probably we need to write const here as well. Really? Really? Do I have to pointer cast this? Maybe? Non-array type. Okay, so now I can, when I do this copy, say I am going to guarantee this is not null. Expected this, found this. Oh my god. So this is going to be, we're going to do a from sqln down here. That's going to take in a C int and return a usize. LSP restart because this is fucked up. There we go. This is going to be a usize from len, and then it's say invalid len. What is with the fucking highlighting? What is going on? Something's fucked. But that's okay. Try from sqln here and here. Oh my lord. Please, 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 please. Okay. This is supposed to be Twitch ID clone here and here. Okay, it built. Please tell me. Oh, fuck yes, dude. Fuck yes, that's our fucking username, dude. SPH. SPHAEROPHORIA. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So we now fucking got a user out of the database, which is very good for us. And we've kind of like, it looks like everything's compiling. So I actually think that we can probably like nuke the DB and kind of run the whole flow. And I think that this should work okay. So we should be able to go to like our website. And if I go to login with Twitch, fuck. Failed to prepare add session ID statement. Okay. Failed prepare add session ID statement. Oh, I wrote it twice. No. And so it's actually really unclear which one this is. This is failed to prepare user from session ID statement. But we know that this user from session ID statement actually works because we just checked it. So it's the add session ID that looks probably a little sketch. So insert into session IDs. Session ID, this is ID and user ID. I'm just a fucking idiot. We just didn't write the right fucking words there. Oops. So we should be able to go here, log in with Twitch, fail to unregister connection. Wait, but that seems okay. Can we go back to index.html? Refresh. Fuck. Okay, log in with Twitch. Core dump. Panic. Reach unreachable code. Whoa, that's kind of fucked. Let's try this again. Oh, interesting. So I think that I crash if I go to the wrong... Oh. Attempt to use null value. Ah, okay, wait. So that's interesting. Oh, right, because it's possible for us to use a session ID that doesn't exist. Right, we were talking about that already. So if we are in that case... What the fuck? No, this doesn't make sense to me. So it's crashing here. Can we just like run this thing in GDB? Like, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? Okay, so this is a null pointer. That makes sense. Like, is there anything in here that's not? Like, user ID 0. So the sqlite statement succeeded and returned a row, but there's like garbage in there? How does that make any fucking sense? How does that make any sense? So we do have session ID mapping to users, and the users... Whoa. That's not good. It maps to user ID 0. That's not good at all. Whoa. It's almost like, is this returning the wrong thing? User ID is this thing. Fuck. New red. Fuck it. Doesn't fucking matter. What is going on? Okay, run. Okay, so fuck me, man. Okay. armdbdb. We start from fucking fresh slate. So we got user ID 1. We run login with Twitch. Oh, now it's working. So I just fucked up my DB in some way, and then that was bugging out. Okay. Okay, so this is a really good sign. We now are like definitely getting our user ID back from the database, which kind of indicates that if I rerun this program now and hit refresh here, this still works. So this is fixed. This is like new behavior where before, if I restarted the server, this username like login session would like go away. This username, which is got from giving our cookie to the server asking for its like authentication segment saying like, hey, I have the session cookie, like, does this mean anything to you? If we restart the program, that used to go away. Now it's like stashed in the DB and everybody's happy. Okay, so we got some work done. It is 2 hours and 15 minutes into stream, so I think we're gonna call it there. And we kind of spent a long time on just like shoving 2 tables in the database. I was kind of hoping to get kind of more to the point where we were going to be like committing WebAssembly modules. But you know, we got somewhere. We're pretty close now. We kind of have like the ability to work with sqlite a little more now, and hopefully, what we're like the only thing that we have to do from here to like get the WebAssembly modules committed to disk is shove the disks or shove the WASM modules into a folder somewhere and map like from user ID, like make a table of WebAssembly modules with their names and their user IDs, and then we can basically like search the table for all WebAssembly modules that match a certain user. And so we're getting closer. We're getting closer. So not too bad. Not too bad. Module uploads tomorrow. Yeah, I think that we will just continue on with this tomorrow. What is the interface of these Rube Goldberg containers? Yeah, we can pull this up real quick. We right now, I think it is defined in wasm chamber.zig. No. Chambers simple zig. This do I have another example? I think I have a work in progress example that uses a C API. Let me see if that's here somewhere. No, okay. But it's essentially this. We'll define it a little bit better in the future. But right now it's like there is initialization and deinitialization. There is the concept of like saving and loading the current state of the module, and then just a step function and a render function. So this render function is called by the client. And the step function is called by the server. The server calls this step function to basically apply physics to the balls, and the render function is applied to like take this canvas here and basically say like, here is the canvas, paint whatever pixels you want on it. The only other thing is that there's inside this allocator, we also need to like have some way of interfacing with memory between the server and the WebAssembly module. So we have to have like an allocation and a deallocation mechanism as well. But it's really the core of it is just like these 2 functions, step and render, as well as the save and load. Because the save and load is like how we basically say on the server, we are stepping this thing, and on every step you're gonna like move your platforms, do whatever you're gonna do. And for us to render that same state, we have to say like, okay, we're gonna like serialize that state and shove it in JSON and shove it up to the top. So like if we run in here and we look at like what network traffic is happening here, if we refresh, you know, in here, there's just like some chamber state, which is like some bucket of bytes. And this is just like from the chamber itself, it decides what the serialization mechanism is for itself. Okay, sorry, a little sidetracked. I think we're calling it there for today. So I think we made good progress. I'm happy with it. Was hoping we get farther, but where we got is not the end of the world. So thanks for watching, you guys. If you like what you saw, we stream most days at around 2 o'clock Pacific time for around 2 hours. Right now, we're working on this Rube Goldberg machine, but there is other stuff. If you want to check out the YouTube, we have playlists for like other things like operating system, terminal emulator, neural network, zlib implementation, QR code decoder, video editor. There's stuff in there if you want to check it out. There's a Twitch link in the YouTube description if you want to swing by and say hi if you happen to be online and you're on the YouTube side of things. There's a GitHub link in the Twitch description as well, where we have code for all these projects and stuff. Yeah, like, subscribe, Twitch Prime, and let's say bye to YouTube, and Twitch, let's find someone to raid.